Should James Bond be episodic or serialized? Hi, I'm Jordan the Nerd of Gold, and I know that Amazon is going to be making a brand new addition to the James Bond franchise. We don't know exactly when it's going to be coming out. We know that Denis Villeneuve, who's done the Dune films, is going to be directing it, and Stephen DeKnight, who's written a bunch of things, is going to be writing the script. And I know recently they've had some trouble figuring out how to bring Bond back after explicitly dying in the last Bond film, and I think the obvious answer to that is reboot the film. I honestly thought that's what they were already doing, but back in the day, it wasn't always clear if James Bond was a person or a code name. There have been plenty of fan theories over the decades about whether that is true or not, and I remember back in the old days, it was just kind of like James Bond on a new adventure, and that was perfectly fine as a James Bond film. But when Daniel Craig came in, they tried to finally serialize and tell a larger story with James Bond. Even if it wasn't always the most coherent of serialized stories, that's what they were trying to do with that era of James Bond. And depending on what you think about it, it did or didn't work. I'm not going to necessarily qualify that on that point. My question is, with this new era of James Bond, should we go back to the old days where it was basically just James Bond on a new adventure and we don't need to worry about whether we've seen the last film, or should they try something new and try maybe something with a longer term plan that they have up front and know what they're going to be doing with a serialized story like they tried to do with Daniel Craig, just trying to do it more, I don't know, more straightforward this time, basically. I just don't know which direction they should go. I think the episodic is probably better because, I mean, for most of American culture, James Bond is just the spy. It doesn't really matter what story we're telling because we're getting a good James Bond experience. It's kind of like a roller coaster in the sense that James Bond isn't like a character we expect to go through huge dramatic shifts. We expect him to be cool, do cool action stuff, and maybe get the lady by the end of the movie and stop the villain. That's kind of what we expect out of James Bond, and he should be in a new setting every time. I think that's what we should go back to, but I can see the potential behind maybe doing a really long-term, cool, serialized spy fiction film franchise, and I think there is potential to that, but I'm just like, which one should we do? Let me know.